Basquiat, come. Good boy. Yes. Yes.
Life's not perfect, and sometimes our dogs fall out of the good habits that we've worked hard to establish. Sometimes we need to get back to retraining our dogs. Let's take a look at Basquiat, a French Bulldog, and we'll talk about his retraining. Hi, I'm Nick Zivgolis, owner of Family Canine Dog Training. I've been training dogs outside all morning in this cold Canadian winter, and I'm still chilled down to the bone, so I'm going to keep my scarf on for now. We're going to take a look at Basquiat. He's a young French Bulldog. I've previously trained him. He's a great dog. His owners took good care of his training up until recently when they had a baby. Things got in the way. That's life. So they contacted me and they wanted help retraining Basquiat, and he came back to the kennel for a bit of a refresh. So French Bulldogs get a bad rap because people will talk about the fact that they're stubborn, they're not very trainable, they're not dogs that are easy for obedience, and that might be true for some dogs, but I know Basquiat, I've trained Basquiat before, and I know exactly how trainable he is, and he's really a very trainable dog. So I wasn't worried about that aspect, and I know that his owners are going to keep up the work with him as long as I can help get the dog on track. What I want to do is I want to go back to basics and re-examine the exercises that I've taught him. So it's my job now to go back and redefine these things for him. And so the first few days was really just that. This is what X, Y, and Z means. This is what I'd like you to do while I'm giving you X, Y, and Z commands. And he's a very playful dog. He's a very affectionate dog. He's really a fun dog to be with. So I really made the training very, very heavily focused on play and picking him up and hugs and kisses and all this stuff that he deems as valuable. Once we establish that, then there's no more issue in terms of comprehension. Now I'm looking for cooperation and willingness. This is a very key component to training. We want our dogs to want to cooperate with us. We want our dogs to be willing to work for us. And of course, when we talk about dogs that are distracted, then it's doubly important that they're willing and cooperative. You can see in the video, he's very focused on me. When I ask him to heel or to place or to come, he's doing everything I want times 10. And very often he's trying to finish my sentence for me before I finish it. So in other words, if he thinks he knows what I want, he's going to offer it to me ahead of time, which is just great. And even if he gives me the wrong thing, I don't care. Again, I have my cooperation and my willingness. Here's a dog who says, I'm here, I'm present, I'm working for you. So if he gives me the wrong thing, no big deal. My job is be a dog trainer, help guide the dog. And over time, he'll give me less and less of the wrong thing and more of the right thing. But we never want to discourage our dog when our dog is trying to give us something, right? It's like a little kid who's learning to do their ABCs or their, write the numbers out, and they make a mistake. You don't want to tell them, no, wrong. Because what's going to happen there is then the kid, oh, this is creepy, I don't like it. I want the dog to want to work for me, so I'm always going to encourage him. If he does the wrong thing, big deal. My job is to teach him how to shift into the thing I'm actually intending for him to do.
Okay. Go. Let's go. Basquiat, come. Come on, Bas. Come on. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Another thing I want to talk about is developing some inhibition. If we look at a lot of what we're asking our dog to do, it's all based around inhibition. So don't chase the squirrel. Don't bark at the person or the animal. Don't try to eat that off the floor. Don't jump up on the counters, so on and so forth. There's a lot of inhibition involved. Now, of course, we can work on teaching a dog non-compatible behaviors. So for instance, I can teach the dog to sit and that replaces the jump. And I can teach the dog to heel and that replaces the pulling. And I can teach the dog to stay on place and that replaces the getting up on the counters or the furniture. But at the same time, I want the dog to understand that there is a delineation, there is a boundary. You can't go past that line. So a little bit of inhibition is very important, especially with a dog like Basquiat. He's so social. He tends to want to jump a lot on people when he's greeting them. And so one thing that I did with him, because he loves to play tug of war, as you can see in the video, and he loves to socialize with other dogs, I thought I would combine those two hot buttons for him.
Place. Basquiat. Basquiat, okay. Good boy. Yeah, you can play too. You can play.
And I bring out Hugo. Hugo's a toy poodle, very playful dog. I haven't trained Hugo, but he's around the kennel a lot, so I know him quite well and we have a nice relationship, and I'll use him as a distraction dog from time to time. And Hugo's super playful, loves to play tug, loves to play fetch, so I know now if I bring out a toy that he's gonna want that toy. And so I'm having both dogs play tug at the same time, and there's no danger here of them fighting. They're both really, really good dogs, social dogs. There's not gonna be an issue there, so I'm not worried about that. And then what I do is I start to utilize Hugo playing tug with the toy as a distraction for Basquiat.
Okay.
And then eventually Hugo goes off with the toy. And now I'm using this as a recall test for Basquiat. So level 1 of the challenge is you're charging for your toy and you want it. And can I stop you and call you back?
Basquiat. Good. Good job, my guy. Go on.
Yeah, I can. Look at that. I can call this dog back while he's in full flight. Level 2 now, we're taking it up a level, is not only are you charging for the toy, you're charging for the toy that another dog has. So his competitiveness, right? There's another level of drive now that's kicking in. He's into another gear. And I'm able to call him back.
Basquiat, come. Good boy. Yes. Yes.
And then what I saw towards the end, and it just put such a smile on my face as his trainer, is once I've done this a bunch of times, we're starting to see some inhibition and some anticipation from Basquiat, where I'm no longer able to really set him up to call him back because the dog is clever and he says, well, we've done this a bunch of times. I can logically anticipate that you're going to call me back again, so I'm not even going to go. Now, I can balance that out. In training, we always want to look for balance. So if Basquiat and Hugo lived together, I would not do a very high rate of frequency of this training because I wouldn't want Basquiat to think that he can't go over and take the toy from Hugo, can't play with Hugo, can't engage with the toy, what have you. But for our purposes here, because it's an artificial environment, they're not dogs that live together, it's just a very temporary thing. I went to a higher rate of frequency than I would in a situation where if the dogs live together, like I just mentioned, and I wanted to see how long would it take before I started to see the dog inhibiting himself and starting to anticipate. And it came about really, really easily, and I was quick to point that out to his owners.
Basquiat, come. Good boy. That's good. That is good. That's good. Desperately wants the toy that Hugo has right now. He's allowing himself to be recalled away from Hugo and the toy. And that's no small feat. It's much more than just calling a dog away from his toy. Now there's also an element of competitiveness. He'd like to take the toy directly from Hugo. It makes the toy that much more enticing, that much more valuable. Look at how he's staring at Hugo right now. Basquiat, okay. And he's holding back now because he's anticipating. He's expecting that he's going to be called. Do you see that? Hey, my guy. Good. Okay, so when I talk about willingness, Basquiat, come. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. When I talk about willingness, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Right, Bas? That's my guy. That's willingness right there. That is it. That is worth its weight in gold.
So in a scenario where the baby is now maybe in a high chair and throwing food at the dog, they can take that example and then practice leave it with the food coming out of the high chair. And if you do it frequently enough, then the dog says, okay, I recognize this scenario. I can't do that. Or someone coming into the house. These days with COVID, we don't really have that very much, but I know it's an issue with Basquiat where he wants to greet people with a lot of excitement. So if we want to work on getting him not to jump, a little bit of frequency and repetition, and he's going to inhibit. So again, I'm looking for balance, and as soon as the dog shows me that he's giving me that sweet spot where I'm able to get what I want from him easily, then I know that I can ramp down the training. Conversely, if the dog's not giving me what I want that easily, if he's what we would consider a higher maintenance dog, then I would ramp the training up until I started to see that inhibition, right? And that anticipation that I'm looking for. So it's really a matter of getting to know your dog and what works best for that particular dog. And in this case with Basquiat, it was really very easy to achieve. And I don't know if you can hear her while she's been snoring away in her bed just by my feet. I thought I'd pick my dog up and give you a look at my dog, Cow. Come here, Cow, you're ridiculous. There you go.